You asked me earlier this evening who I was here to skewer.
No, I didn't.
Partly it's LEC and partly I guess it's council. I'm here to talk about the budget as it relates, or as it's proposed in draft form, as it relates to LEC. LEC is an entity that most city residents have never even heard about. In discussing LEC at various meetings and social engagements with city residents, I've discovered that most city residents have absolutely no idea that LEC has received loans in excess of $10 million. They don't know that in total, LEC paid only $3,000 in interest on that $10 million in loans. And there is currently no realistic plan in place to pay that money back. Page 8 of the presentation at item 1.8 discloses an intent to lend LEC a further $12 million in the 2014 timeline. We know that in 2013, LEC has installed pipe on Lonsdale Avenue, Chesterfield, 3rd Street, Fell Avenue, Marine Drive, St. George's, and many other city streets and roadways. The total value of these investments is not yet disclosed. Today I asked staff for these dollar amounts, but they are unable to provide me any figures. Staff did confirm that none of the 2013 expenditures are included in the $10,664,000 in loans set out on page 67 and 68 of the city's 2012 annual report. Total disclosed investments in LEC in the 2012 annual report, page 67, are $8,664,000. Page 68 discloses a further $2 million, combining to equal $10,664,000. Proposed 2014 funding provision for LEC adds $12 million, bringing the total investment for getting 2013 to $22,664,000. Further grants at line 1024 of the proposed draft budget disclose a $100,000 study grant. This is not part of the $12 million disclosed at line 1.8. I'm advised by finance that none of the 2013 capital loan expenditures are incorporated into any of the disclosed amounts detailed in section 1.8 or 1024 of tonight's finance report. The finance department were unable to confirm if the 2013 amounts had yet even been appropriated with council's approval. I'm advised by finance that LEC has no employees and that all work performed on behalf of LEC is currently being paid out of city's general or department-specific payroll budgets. I'm advised by finance that other than the $3,000 in interest charge disclosed in the 2012 annual report on page 68, no interest has been paid by LEC to the city for these loans ever. I'm advised by finance that there is currently no firm plan for the repayment of LEC loans to the city, and that came from the head of finance in these chambers in respect of a question I brought earlier in the year. I'd like to know from this council how many city employee hours have been expended on LEC matters annually for the periods 2010, 11, 12, and 13, which have not been recovered through LEC but have been absorbed in the general budget of the city. What is the total annual wage burden suffered by city taxpayers relating to work performed on behalf of LEC? And we've already been apprised that the shortened capital lifespan of our road infrastructure is being borne by the city and not by LEC. What new amounts have been loaned or guaranteed to LEC or LEC creditors for the 2013 year-to-date investments, and what is the full year-end estimate? And when was the 2013 loan appropriation for LEC approved by council? Who authorized all this investment in LEC? And was this done during in-camera sessions beyond the eyes and ears of the taxpayers? What is the total dollar amount LEC intends to loan, or the city intends to loan to LEC for the 2013 calendar year period? Because on top of the 22 million that the 2012 financial statements disclose and the 12,100,000 of which isn't a loan disclosed in this.
So Mr. Moore, I want to stick to your script. I'll give you the time to finish your script, but because you've already gone down in 5 minutes, so if you can keep that, we'll let you finish it.
We don't know what the 2013 number takes that 22 million to. And on what legal basis does the city's LEC Energy monopoly rightfully refuse disclosure of detailed financial information from taxpayers who have funded LEC tens of millions of dollars in public loans? I'm informed by city staff that we still have drinking water pipe in the city in use today. It was installed in 1913. And we're funding hot water pipe in LEC to the tune of $22+ million. It's my position that you need to be a little more forthright about the amounts you're spending. Stop holding LEC decision-making matters in camera behind closed doors and beyond our eyes and knowledge. And I say we need a full public investigation into the city's management of LEC and LEC's use and dependence upon public funds, and this investigation should include a public hearing process with full public input and disclosure, and not another behind closed doors event.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. So I'll give you a couple extra minutes there because I wanted to get it finished. I'm going to go to Mr. Tolson to respond to some of your questions, and then I think I don't see our LEC staff person here, so we might have to get back to you at another point in time, but we made some notes, and I've got a copy of this for staff. Mr. Tolson.
Thank you, that's your worship. But just want to say that the staff for LEC, the reason why Ben isn't here right now is Ben has not been able to take off time because he's worked 100% for the firm since last year, and this is his first time off. I just want to point out, but I just wanted to clarify one item. You mentioned that the staff of the firm, currently the staff for LEC is 2. They are paid for by the city but charged back. The LEC pays them back weekly or monthly. So all of the staff for LEC, they're put on the payroll for the city because it'd be more expensive for us to do another set of books. But everything, including the audit and all of the functions, are paid for entirely by it. When you mention about the roads, the pipes and things like that, every time that somebody digs up our streets, and this is whether it's in Metro, or this is whether it's BC Hydro, this is whether it's the telephone companies or Shaw, anybody, they do not have to repave the streets. The benefit of the city doing that, the pipes, and currently all of it, the pipes are being installed for by the city. By us putting the pipes in, we can assure ourselves that the roads are being built back to these standards that we will ask others. And if you look at the pipes going up Lonsdale, they are being put in at an excellent rate. If you look at the sinkages, the roads, sinkages like that, they are kept to a minimum. The staff actually spend a lot of time and effort to make sure that the roads are kept up to that type of standards. If you look at some of the problems that we're facing now on Lonsdale from 18th North, that's not caused because of the pipes for Lonsdale. That's caused by others who have been ripping up our streets and roads. If you look at the pipes that are going in 15th now, if you look at the work that the city is working on, the standards are excellent. When you mentioned some of the loans, and I'm sorry that Ben isn't here, but when you mentioned that some of the loans, the numbers that you quoted are higher than what we have here. But Mr. Thiemens is planning to come back to council within the next couple of months, and that'll be brought out in the open of all of the loans and capital monies that the city has put in. I'd like to mention one thing, the critical element here. All of the profits that are made by LEC go 100% to the city. Those are not mentioned in some of your numbers. Also, the value of our assets, the city owns 100% of them. If we were to sell off LEC, the money that we would earn would far pay off all of the loans that you have mentioned, plus. So it's a valuable asset. If you go back to 1907, when the city first started to put in the pipes and the water, our forefathers then had to spend a lot of money to build a system. The same situation is happening now. But when you compare what the city is doing and what other cities are doing, such as Richmond, Surrey, and others out there, they are building systems similar to us. Systems of this nature do take a lot of money, capital. But the city has been, or the LLEC has been able to borrow some money, and we've been able to pay that back and paying it back. Some of the loans, because of its very nature, have to show up on the books of our city. So when you look at some of those loans, they look like it's a loan of the city, but it's technically speaking, it is not. It's a loan for LEC, and there's a separate deal on that. But I'd like to point out that Mr. Siemens, when that he is back within the next couple of months, is planning to bring back these issues. So the questions that you have, we're going to answer them all. But I just want, the critical thing is, number one is, the staff for LEC are being paid for 100%, not 90%, not 70%, 100% by the firm. And currently there's a staff of 2.
In reply.
So
The loan
Mr. Morris,
numbers, the loan, just
no, Ms. Morris,
Very brief.
there's no, okay, very briefly, it's
Very brief.
it's not a debate.
the loan numbers which you say I cited incorrectly are taken from your financial statements in your presentation tonight. Secondly, the issue on payroll was put specifically to finance staff today. They told me that the matter of journaling for the cost of employees has yet to be worked out, and there is an agreement being negotiated on that topic. So their information conflicts with the information you've just given me.
Well, thank you very much, but I've signed checks paying at the city all of the
Okay.
salaries. Thank you, Worship.
So, Mr. Morris, I just want to thank you for your for giving us a written presentation. Appreciate that. And what wasn't answered by Mr. Tolston, we'll have staff get back to you, and it'll probably be a public letter because it's a public forum. So we'll make sure that other people get copies as well.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that.